Hello everyone. Today's topic in Lipid Chemistry lecture series is Amphipathic lipids. At the end of this session, students shall be able to define the term amphipathic, enumerate amphipathic lipids and explain their significance. What are amphipathic molecules? Molecules having polar or ionized group at one end and non-polar group at opposite end. They are called as amphipathic molecules. Hydrophilic molecules are also called as water-loving molecules because they have polar groups or ionized group like carboxyl and amino group in a molecule and they promote the solubility in water. While hydrophobic molecules are called as water-fearing molecules because they have hydrocarbon groups and they are insoluble in water. And when mixed with the water, amphipathic molecules form clusters with their polar region orienting towards the surface of cluster where they are attracted to the surrounding water molecule while the non-polar ends are oriented toward the interior of cluster. And this interior is called as hydrophobic region or oil phase. And the exterior or polar region form hydrogen bonds with water molecule. And this is called as hydrophilic region or water phase. And such an arrangement provides maximal interaction between water molecule and polar ends of amphipathic molecules. And this orientation of amphipathic molecules in aqueous phase plays an important role in the structure and function of cell membrane and in the transport of non-polar molecules in the blood, which is predominantly aqueous. The examples of amphipathic lipids are phospholipids, glycolipids, free fatty acids, unesterified cholesterol and bile salts. This is the structure of phospholipid having glycerol backbone and two fatty acids are attached at carbon 1 and carbon 2 position and at carbon 3 phosphate group is attached to which nitrogenous base and alcohol is attached. And together nitrogenous base and phosphate forms polar hydrophilic region which is called as head. These two fatty acids they form tail, that is non-polar hydrophobic region. Presence of head and tail, that is polar and non-polar region, make this phospholipid an amphipathic molecule. And this lipid, that is phospholipid, is the integral component of cell membrane. Phospholipid bilayer forms cell membrane. Here the polar head is orienting towards the aqueous medium and non-polar tail they are facing towards each other. Glycolipids are also amphipathic lipids as carbohydrate moiety is polar in nature in the structure of glycolipid and sphingosine and fatty acid is non-polar. Free fatty acids are amphipathic because of the non-polar hydrocarbon side chain and polar carboxylic acid. Cholesterol is also amphipathic because of presence of hydroxyl group at carbon 3 position which is polar in nature and other structure is non-polar. In the structure of bile salts and bile acids, the structure is non-polar but presence of hydroxyl group and carboxylic group is responsible for polar nature. So glycolipid, free fatty acid, cholesterol, bile acids and bile salts, they are amphipathic lipids. Coming to the biological significance of amphipathic lipids, because of the amphipathic nature of phospholipids and cholesterol, they are integral component of cell membrane. Triacylglycerol is not a constituent of cell membrane because they lack polar head groups. Bile salts form micelles and mixed micelles. The micelles have a disc-like shape and contain the non-polar lipids in the interior portion and polar bile salts on exterior. These bile salts form mixed micelle with dietary lipids and facilitate their effective absorption. What are liposomes and why they are important? When amphipathic lipids undergo sonication, that is exposure to high frequency sound waves in an aqueous medium, liposomes are formed. Liposomes can be unilamellar or multilamellar. Unilamellar means only single lipid bilayer is present. In multilamellar, many lipid bilayers are present forming various aqueous compartments. So in the liposomes, they contain aqueous region intermittently in lipid bilayers. And what is the use of liposomes? They are involved in the drug delivery. They are agents as drug carriers in circulation and for gene transfer into vascular cells. Many drugs like anti-cancer drugs, daunorubicin, doxorubicin, they can be carried with the help of liposomes. Water-soluble drugs are carried in the aqueous phase and water-insoluble drugs are carried in the non-polar phase. These are the examples of various drugs which are delivered through liposomes in case of cancer therapy, fungal diseases, as analgesics, photodynamic therapy and as viral vaccines.